Reverend.
Pleasure.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana eti.
Asante, thank you for accepting to be our guest in our show.
Yeah.
So, getting on well, Reverend, tell me, when did you start having issues when it comes to alcoholism? Maybe you can share that.
Okay. In my transition from diploma
Yeah.
to degree,
Yeah.
I integrated with, this time I'm just a village boy,
Yeah.
born and brought up even in the East Africa.
Yeah.
I'm integrating with people and I'm becoming dynamic because even, going to college, you become dynamic.
Yes.
And you are exposed. And it's this time I integrated with part of the team we were with. And it happens they were a bit senior. And one of them, whom I was under, it was very funny that, my interaction with alcohol started on a Sunday evening.
Wow.
After we are done with ministry with one of my seniors who was a friend, and because of anonymity, we cannot say his name.
Absolutely, yes.
As we were departing and parting shots, we were in his car. And we had even gone through a supermarket and done the evening shopping. At this time, I was not married. So I was going to Kagema. And as we were parting shot is when he told me, now, as we planned for the next week duties, I was just sitting next to him. I have something I want to take here, and maybe I don't know how your feelings, how you can take, or whether you can take or not.
Yeah.
And because he was my senior and a person I trusted, and also the peer influence, I have been telling people, my brother Edwin, peer influence does not go with age.
No, it
It's
does
in every sphere of life.
Yes.
One is a person I trust. He is born again. He's telling me that he has something we can share. I don't want to betray this person. The peer influence is also challenging me. If I don't do it and he hears somebody else saying that he does it, he will say that I'm the one. So I had to do it. I never had the power. That was the fall of my life. I never had the power to resist and say no.
Peer pressure is real.
Peer pressure is real. And how we can only fight peer pressure as we give hope, even to the young people who are on holiday and especially military. Whatever you know is wrong. What you have been brought up knowing is wrong. What does not go in line with your principles, don't never ever let your personality override your principles. Learn to say no. Learn to say no.
Yes.
Even in salvation, even in everything, even in your space of work. If you have the capacity to say no, you are going to be very successful. And that was where I fell in taking alcohol. I joined him, I took, and after some intake, and what he had was over. At that time, I never even used to know the brass of alcohol, how alcohol looked like. But I hated alcohol very much because I had seen it taking the life of my own father. And even in the society, I had seen how miserable it had done to people. And how even in my other ministry now as an evangelist, I had seen it doing in families and young people and stealing life, destroying. But let me tell you, at this point, I contemplated what I had been taught by not having the power to say. And that's why I say at this point, because it's an hour of hope. My very simplified message of hope at this point to the young people, to every Christian or every person, is that we should never be ignorant. When Moses saw the burning bush in Exodus chapter 3, he never ignored. Ignorance is the thing that will always make us be very separate with God. Being ignorant. I tell every person who is watching us in this hour of hope, you are a Christian, you have your principles, you have your Christian principles, you have your personal principles. Never be ignorant to them.
Stick to them.
Never be ignorant to what you have heard that is not right. Never be ignorant to the word of God. That ignorance brings a lot of mess in life.
So you took that drink that day?
I took that day. I really vomited. And after the one that we were taking, we went and bought another one. I vomited. And he told me that it shall be well, it's only that it's the first day. And after that, the following week when we met in the evening, he went and bought some more. And now is a new day. And this time he doesn't have to request me whether I would take. Because we already had a fellowship sharing the same. We did it for that week. And let me tell you, Edwin, a word is always said and people take it ordinary. A habit turns out to be a disease. I did it. And after some time, initially it was not a disease. I started now coming back to my own senses and I felt, this is not really what I have been taught. This does not go in line with my Christian doctrine. This thing is giving me a lot of discomfort and a lot of displeasure, even as I continue persecuting my ministerial duties. As I continue evangelizing and preaching about God, this is not right.
So you are consuming alcohol and also you're ministering, but people do not know.
I'm doing it in separate. We are doing it in separate. And after some time now, even God makes a way and I'm transferred out of that place and I go to a very far parish. But now, the habit that I told you turns out to be a disease. That simple thing that you may have started in your lifestyle, it may turn out to be the disease that will consume you. Now at this point, I'm not having anybody to drink with, to buy for me, but I'm doing it myself.
With your own money.
With my own money. I close myself in the house at night. I never used to drink it. And I'm doing it with a lot of pain. Because I'm feeling I'm not supposed to do it. But the habit I've already turned to be a disease without my knowledge. My body now needs it. My body needs it. Actually, you are a counselor and I have come to understand, because we may not get time to go to that. Out of the time I have gone for rehabilitation, I've come to understand that addiction is caused by two things. One is caused by the genetic implication and the environmental factors. Now, with my understanding now, I have come to understand why addiction is called a disease, because I have gone through it. And I came to understand that now, the first zip that I took, genetically, I was predisposed to it.
Because of your father.
Because of my father and also my grandfather and also the size of my mother, where people are really serious alcoholic. And when I say that, those people who know them, they know even my uncles are still traveling, and I'm praying to God that I may be the person who will help them. That we may not have another family member in this generation and the generation to come that will die because of alcohol.
You know, you said something powerful. Because you're genetically predisposed, the first drink you took is what triggered.
It triggered and ignited the genes.
So if you had not taken that first drink, you would never have gotten it wrong.
Let me tell you, if I had one, if I was sensitized that you and that have died because of alcohol, your grandmother, your cousin, your so and so, so you should never joke with alcohol. If I had that sensitization, I could have known this thing is an enemy. Also, that was the first thing. Also, if I had a strong willpower to say no, alcohol could have never affected. Because God had already brought the right to me at my now, as an adult now, because I was past 18. I had been reviewed the word of God. I knew what was right. But I never had the willpower to say no. Those two things.
And I also think, because the person who introduced it to you was senior to you, you felt obliged to comply. Because he's older than you.
But you know, if I had the willpower, you know, when you have the willpower to say no, you consider what is right
from wrong.
And you are able even to confront people and situation. You remember, you know, you are able even to have your principles clear. Even to tell your boss, I don't do this. And those people who are principled, even in they are working colleagues, they know if it's a person who is principled in, he doesn't or she doesn't entertain rumors. You hear even in the office space, their colleagues say, Don't give rumors to her. She doesn't entertain because their principles are well. No, I think him being my senior, well, at that time, it kept me in that peace, but I still had the willpower, had the chance of willpower to say no. To say no, I'm born again, and from where I have been raised, born again people don't.
I agree.
Yeah.
So you're dating your wife?
Yeah.
But she doesn't know you are consuming alcohol.
She doesn't know.
So you do it in the evening at night?
Yeah.
But in the daytime, you are not. How did you hide your breath from people?
Let me tell you all this time, Edwin, my alcohol taking rate had escalated. Regard, me being hypertensive.
Oh, high blood pressure.
Yeah, so Monica knew I was going through hypertension and other few people around me.
Yeah.
But I never knew the cause. And at this time, when I used to take up, at this point, I could not be able to take the morning breakfast. I had appetite issues. I'm on medication. She found that I was drinking alcohol. She was very frustrated. I'm always very sorry for her for this. I think it's one of the frustration that I pray God that He may continue healing His words. She took some time and she later asked me when it started. And I told her, Monica, you are the first person in my life. I'll tell you what is disturbing me. And I know you assist. Quick in hospital, when I was about to be discharged, he called me and we went to a balcony and told me, Chege, if you don't tell me what you do, I will not be able to help you. And it's at this time I told him, I am a priest in the Anglican Church. He told me, why have you been worrying to tell me? Even priests are human and we are treating them and we are helping them and they do recover. But the most shocking thing is that he told me now, why I called you here and why I wanted to know what you do is because your level of addiction demands a rehabilitation.
He told you that.
He told me that. And I was like, now what are you telling me? Where do I go and start enjoying the bishop and the church that I need to go for rehabilitation? This thing looks very scary. This one.
You could lose your job.
Yeah.
Your position.
Yeah, I could lose it. You know, alcohol tries to face mask problems. But he told me, you will not go far. After 2 weeks, 2 weeks, you still go back to it. And so it happened. I went back to it. I continued with the ministry. Now I'm in the cathedral. Opportunities for priesting are here. I have been priested. I'm still in the problem now, seriously sunk to it. Now is the time that I'm having tremors. Yeah, I'm having tremors because I'm drinking and over drinking. Also, I think the message that I need to be taken to rehabilitation also traumatized me in a way. And there is nothing very difficult like knowing the solution of your problem and not accepting it. And that's why maybe a day like yesterday I was sharing with some people about the denial. And let me tell you, Edwin, I went all through until, 3 years ago, until the bishop realized I had a problem and he suspended me from the full-time ministry on 27, November 2021. A day I will never forget. People may term it as the worst day. And to me, in the beginning, it was the worst day and the dark day of my life. But I tell you, Edwin, that is the day. The journey to self-realization started. It may have come with a lot of conflict between the body, the spirit, and the mind. But that is the day that the journey to whom I am, to the mission I am into, ambassador of hope in addiction recovery, started. That is the day that it have contributed to giving me the confidence that I have to tell people that there is life after recovery. People do recover. People do recover. I tell you, Edwin, I went down to the worst of addiction. I don't know the worst of addiction that you have ever seen. And I don't know how you would imagine it now happening to a person who was on the altar.
Yeah.
Which is the worst of addiction have you ever seen?
Wow. I mean, I've seen people who have hit rock bottom. They've sold their property.
That's the word. Don't look for another word.
Yes.
Don't look for another
Rock
word.
bottom.
I hit it.
Yes.
And whenever you hear someone is hitting rock bottom, you know rock bottom is the rock that is so down the earth.
Yeah.
And you can strike it, especially when you are a human being. There are two alternatives. You strike it, you die.
Yeah.
Or you strike it hard, you are able to access the water under
the rock.
Under the rock.
Yeah.
And you think it's easy?
It is not.
Those who are not able to hit it hard until they access the water there under the rock bottom, they die.
True.
They commit suicide.
Yes.
Which have ever even come across my mind. Committing suicide. And I thank God that despite the ups and downs, I was able to hit the rock bottom.
Yeah.
To hit it hard.
Yeah.
Until now, I have the testimony that I'm sharing. That there is life in recovery. I told you when you read it.
Yeah.
I am recovering from something that have killed many.
Yes. Very many.
Those who have hit rock bottom and they have died. But my life is a proof that I'm a walking miracle and there is life after addiction.
And this is the message we are conveying to our viewers.
This is the hope that we are giving.
Yeah.
That there is still life
after
addiction. The journey might seem to be very long, very difficult, not easy at all. But there is life after addiction. There is life after every struggle that you are going through. Let me tell you. Addiction in the society, depression, you are in the counseling services.
Yes.
This is the men's mental health man.
Yes.
Depression, addiction are the struggles men are going through. Are the struggles in the society. These things, they don't choose your status. Whether you have the color or not. Whether you are the president, whether you are the deputy, whichever position.
Yes.
They are not a respecter of that.
Yes.
They will reach to you because you are a human being.
True.
As far as you are living in this universe where we are now, called Earth, and specifically Kenya, anything that you see with your own sight happening to a human being, it can also happen to you. It can also happen to you. Just in a click of an eye. And I want to tell you, those two things, addiction and depression in the society, are considered the things of those people who have failed in life.
Yeah.
And they are excluded out of the society. They are ignored. They are called names.
They are stigmatized.
They are stigmatized like I was.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, they just look like those, in the Old Testament, I'm a biblical scholar.
Yeah.
In the Old Testament and the New Testament, there is a character of people who are sent out of their villages that I take and see as if is the picture the society takes. Those people who have gone through the crutches of life. And when I say crutches of life, I mean depression, addiction, separation, all those things that people see as tough things, and they take those people who have gone through them as if they are isolated.
Yes.
Even divorce, even widowers, everything that happens in this life, and people part ways from you because they think bad luck have befallen you. That's the notion of people. Bad luck have befallen you. Your character defect have been exposed.
Yeah.
There were the lepers in the Old Testament. And even in the New Testament. How are these people treated? I also see in your hours of hope, you expound the word of God.
Yes, I do.
These people, the lepers, they were victimized so much.
Yeah.
They were sent out of their villages. And they went through a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Because nobody was concerned with them.
Yes.
And let me tell you, Edwin, in 2 Kings, chapter 7 from verse 3, we see the 4 lepers who are sent out of the village. And I always take that text as my encouragement. These people were sent out of their own town because they had a challenge that was a personal challenge. People never cared whether you have a family. People never cared whether you have, even those people who are very close to you, your wife, your spouses, your mother, your father. They said, you go. You are an outcast now. And these people, the foreigners, you know what happened to them? As they were outside their hometown, there was a lot of hunger.
Yes.
And in the midst of their hunger, they say to themselves, now, what are we going to do? Now, the people who sent us away, they don't have food. They started conversing. And you know this conversation is like the conversation people usually have in bars.
Yeah.
You know, in bars is where you have honest conversation.
It is very true.
It's only in bars you go and say, you know, I've been deserted by my wife.
Yes.
You know, I have sold my everything. Buy for me something small.
Yes.
And those others will tell you, you think you are the only one who is going through Bewa Kitu. And they started having a conversation, the foreigners, and you imagine how the disease of leprosy was. And they started asking each other, what are we going to do? We are hungry. Now, but if we stay here, we are going to die. If we go back to those people who also thought that they were more advantageous than us, they are also suffering from hunger. But on that side, our enemies, the Arameans, they might be having some food. But if we go there, they will still kill us. But because our faith is dead, let's try and they cited each other and said, let's go. And after going, God gave them a backup. And the whole story, many people know it. But the most amazing part of the backup is that in 2 Kings chapter 7 from verse 3 and around verse 9, after these people had eaten, they were full. People who were sent out, they started seeing clothes that were smart. They started stealing gold and silver. Well, they said in verse 9, they said to each other, are we doing the right thing?
Yeah.
And when they asked themselves, they said, this is the time to go and give a testimony of what God have done to us.
True.
Back to the people who sent us away.
Yes.
And tell them there is a place they can take food. Yes. Now, how do you think and how do you take the message of these people? And I take it that I have gone through how one feels as an outcast because of addiction.
Yes.
I have gone through marriage issues. There are times that my wife was very pressed, and she's a human being. Yeah. She even went. I have gone the hardest and the painful part of addiction. Yeah. I have gone through that. And what I'm doing now in the ministry I am in, now that God has given me a new lease of life, I'm effecting the new lease of life. I cannot sit and just say, I'm okay, thank you, God. No. You know, many people who have gone through the crutches of life, whenever they are able to maneuver and go through, they go silent.
Yes.
They don't speak. They go silent and they keep thanking God in silence. But I have felt as the foreigners felt. I don't want to be silent anymore.
Yes.
That silence is the fear that used to intimidate me when I used to approach the presence of God. And I knew I had a secret thing I was battling. That's why I have come out to give a testimony that God is able to work with people in hard situations, deliver them, and give them a new lease of life.
And I love your story, Reverend, because the courage to come out is giving hope to millions and millions of people.
Sure.
So many in our society are battling addiction silently. And more so because you're a man of the cloth. I can imagine what it took for you as an ordained minister to come out and say, yes, I'm a priest, but I still struggle with addiction. What you did, you humanized this thing. You made us realize, wait, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're coming from, what they call you, anyone can survive.
Let me tell you, when you see me speaking out, is because there is something that have been edified in my heart through my journey. I haven't told you, and maybe you'll get other time to say, the stigma that I got. And the stigma that I got first was from the people I used to call brethren.
Yes.
I don't have any challenge with brethren. I love them. But I want to say this, one thing that have been edified in my heart, and I want it to reach everyone who is in this universe, who is breathing as we are breathing. And I want it also to reach to those people who are feeling low and desperate.
Yes.
That the love of God, the plans of God are for every humanity who is alive.
Yes.
We, the Christians, like myself and you, we possess so much the scripture of Jeremiah 29 and verse 11.
For I know the plans.
And we confidently share and testify with them. I know the plans that you have for me. And even when we go for open air and crusades, those are the words of testimony we echo, testifying and boasting about them.
Yes.
It have come to my realization that the love of God, the plan of God is for every humanity. Everybody who is alive. You know, when we sleep at night, Edwin, nobody knows what will happen.
Yes.
When you wake up and God gives you a new lease of life, thank God. The second thing, don't boast because of that lease of life. Every humanity you see, whether you know he is an adulterer, whether a drunkard sleeping on the sides of the road, whether the street children, whether a depressed person, whether a divorced person, know that those people are living by the love and the mercies of God. And what can happen to you? They are still in the plan of God. You know, my journey have taught me a scripture that I used to preach with very much about Jeremiah chapter 18, when he was told to go and see the potter.
Yeah, to the potter's house, yes.
Dear viewers, I want to encourage you. What you might be going through today, you just need to raise your bars of faith. You are in the potter's heart. You know, the Bible tells us that we are just like a piece of clay, and God is our potter, and we are in his heart. So, I wanted to say the edification of the love of Christ is what we should have in our hearts. That everybody matters before God. Let me tell you, Edwin.
Yes.
You remember the thief who was crucified with Jesus?
Yes.
What happened to this thief?
There were two.
There were two.
There was one who mocked Jesus, but there was another one who said, "Have remember me when you come into your."
What happened to this one who said, "Remember me"?
Jesus said to him, "Today you shall be with me in paradise."
Where will we meet that thief? If we perfect our Christian faith.
In paradise.
What did he have to do?
All he had to do was reach out to Jesus Christ.
At the very last
moment.
At the very last moment. Maybe people used to say, this person will never see God.
Yeah.
And they used to criticize the person because he was a thief. But because he was alive, at the very last moment, because the mercy of God was still circulating for his care, he got the assurance.
Reverend, let me ask you.
Ask.
How do you help people in the church who are struggling with alcoholism secret? What do you say to them?
Let me tell you from where I sit. Since I shared, I have been able to see the real situation in the church. I have had people who have approached me, who are in the full-time ministry, telling me, you know, I heard your story and this is what I have been fighting in the secret. But what do I have to do now? I don't have any platform to help them. What I usually tell them is, take care. You have heard my story. You have seen how alcohol can do to you in active ministry. So take a lot of care. And to those who are confident enough, seek help.
Yes.
Seek help.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Seek help. Seek help. If I sought help at the time the psychiatrist told me, I could not have gone all through this journey.
And your wife and your best man was instrumental for you getting help.
And they have also been very instrumental in my journey up and down.
Yeah.
And especially the best man, who is a man I salute, he's also a priest.
Yeah.
And he has told me, even to my lowest, God will do something out of this.
Wow.
He's one of those people who have never deserted me, who have walked with me as a father and a son.
Up to now.
Up to this day.
When you came out of rehab, it's important I don't forget. Did you relapse? Because the people who come out of rehab and they relapse.
The first rehab I went, I was taken by crutches, and I never admitted in the admission that I was a priest. They also said that we should not say that you are a priest so that you don't get demoralized.
Yes.
So they said I'm a teacher. I worked the 3-month program as a teacher. You know, a rehabilitation also, it should be head to head. When I got a one-on-one counselor, I know you know that.
Yes.
He kept on asking, what do you do? I never wanted to tell him. And so we finished the program and he told me, go back to where you came from. And I came back home expecting, with a lot of expectation, that the bishop will call me back to the ministry now because I'm healed. And the way I have worked myself out. But I stayed home. And after some time, you know, let me tell those people who are going through addiction, if you really want to help them, have an head-to-head program.
Yes.
And I also have a message to employers, because these are all things that is even happening to the corporate society.
Yeah.
If you want, addiction is a disease.
It is.
That needs help, not a punishment, not a crime that should be punished.
Yes.
So when I came, I stayed home. After maybe 2 months, I relapsed just because of anger. We had a misunderstanding with the wife. You know, at this time, I'm not going any place. I'm staying in the house. My only exit strategy was the church will recall me.
Yeah.
Just imagine having served the church since the age of 19. And now, at that time, I was 12 years in the ministry. I wasn't exposed to anything else.
The church was everything too.
Church was everything. He's the one that had given me an opportunity to study, to get married. All the social capital that I had revolved around the church.
It was also your source of income.
It was also my source of income. And I tell you, since the day, that month, 27, I never got anything on my account when I was suspended on 27 November 2021. He also opened a very hard phase of life.
Now you're depending on your wife.
My wife, who was working on a very temporary source of income, but I also thank God at this time, God works in miraculous way. God was able to give him a good place of work, to give her a good place of work. So I relapsed. Because also, addiction is also a brain relapsing disease.
Yes.
And it becomes a brain relapsing disease because it needs, one, for you to go through the journey of addiction, you need to be very much honest and willing.
True.
And honest to yourself and God, not to Edwin and other people. You need to be very honest to yourself and God and willing. And so I relapsed, because I had pegged my expectation on the wrong side of my. And also at this time, I was not prepared of any stigma. Those people who even came to visit me, I remember one clergy came to visit me and told me, another clergy was sharing with shopkeepers in town how now you are out of rehabilitation. No, that's very stigmatized. And let me tell you, my colleagues, many of them stigmatized me so. And I don't blame them. But one thing I want to tell you from the deepest of my heart is that I will never like anyone to go through what I went.
It was very painful.
And especially in the stigmatization part of it, when even my wife felt she needs a break. And when I went back to the village, and how those people whom we were in the same faith, in the same fellowship, how they did their talkings, and nobody cared even whether I went to church.
And these were the people who were supposed to support you.
Let me tell you, always rely on God.
Yeah.
I appreciate the Christians of the cathedral where I served, the St. James Cathedral, my last parish. They have been very instrumental, and every time they do a follow-up. And I thank them very much, because even at this time, they usually, when they see my progress, they tell me, we thank God, our prayers are answered. Let me tell you, if you have never been through trenches, life have taught me one thing. One person told me, and I want to tell everybody who is watching us this hour, that success has very many fathers, but failure is an orphan.
Oh, I like that.
Success has very many fathers, but failure is an orphan. When I had skilled very well in the ministry, very many people like to be associated with me. But now in this failure, I became a total desperate orphan.
Everyone left.
Everyone. It's only Monica who cringed to me, my mother, and my young boy, who now calls me daddy, and I feel proud for that. And I'm grateful because I was sensitized this young boy at this age. That's one thing about the society. The second thing that I want to tell you that I have really learned. Edwin, many people.
Reverend, a minute. Let us go for 5 minutes break, and when we come back, Reverend will continue with the story.
You are funeral. Let me tell you.
Yes.
You saw the other day is not very far. A young man from TikTok died. Within 48 hours, more than 6-7 million were contributed.
Yes.
But the whole circle, you could hear that he had a problem with addiction. Nobody came in.
Yeah.
But now, during the barrio, 7-8 million. For what purpose? Okay, that's one. Many people who ever support your dreams. Now I have a dream that I'm venturing in this ministry of helping addicts. Yeah. Not many people who support me. Not many people who come my way. And let me tell you, many people markets one's failure. I have had very many people who have marketed my failure and talked so many things, and you are there also, you are going through what I have gone through, the trenches of life on the other side. And maybe you have seen what people have done to you. It's good, I tell people who are watching us, it's good you support people, and especially on their dreams. Don't be marketers of failure. Today is me, tomorrow is you. And let me tell you, the most amazing thing to our viewers and everyone, God used rescued people to rescue others. God uses rescued people to rescue others. And that's why I'm very passionate on the mission of helping those who are in addiction. Yes. I know the pain. I have been there until rock bottom. And I want you to get rock bottom that I mean is of that drunkard in the village, don't take a shower for a week, don't change the clothes.
That's the rock bottom you are in.
Hey, my friend, that's the real rock bottom that I have hit. Then, anything that you feel you need is only a drink. You don't care what kind of drink, anything that will take you high. I have drank even the worst of the worst. But I thank God that I am safe and I have a testimony that people do recover. That's why I said I'm recovering and I am a walking miracle from something that I've killed. Amen. And that's why I cannot keep quiet. Yes. And wait see people die. That's why I cannot keep quiet and wait see people overlooking these people. We need to express the sincere love of
absolutely reverent.
And to help where we can. Let's not wait for barriers. Yes. Actually, for myself, I don't want to say this because it may be offending to Monica, and in my new pace of life, I don't want to offend. I have already taken how maybe my body would be disposed, and I don't maybe need a band. Don't focus on those things. Help where you can. Addiction is a family disease.
It is a family.
Even the bishop, the archbishops, and everybody, even prophets and overseers, they are affected by it. Yes. You may not be taking it, but your son, your brother, no family is not affected by addiction. No family. including of those people who are the colleagues even. And addiction is not only about alcohol. There are other addictions.
Yes.
There are people who are addicted on homosexuality.
It's true.
There are people who are addicted on masturbation. There are people who are addicted on eating.
Yes.
There are people who are addicted on gossip.
Gambling.
Which is growing very high.
Yes. Especially among young people.
And for you to know that addiction is a disease, you don't need rocket science. Because many are the times that people think that those people who we are in addiction, we do pretend. They say maybe this poor upbringing. The other day, my wife posted something on the WhatsApp status. She said, you always laugh when you see a madman dancing naked until the madman is your brother or your child.
True. Very true.
Until the madman is your brother or your
child.
That's when you feel the pain of the nakedness. I never knew what she wanted to mean. But that tells you that you keep criticizing those in addiction, you keep punishing them and discriminating them in the society until it happens one of your own. Until it happens one of your own. Let's embrace the love of God. Let's give help. Let's show the love of the cross. Not that these people, they don't want to get out of addiction. When addiction gets to a disease, it starts with the experimental stage, regular user, you become a dependent, and then to an addict.
Yeah.
When you become an addict, the body dictates its needs. And what was hard for me, and what is hard for any addict, is the day to stop. You try. I used to pray, go for prayer centers, fast, and say I will stop. But it never happened because it had already developed a disease. And it's a chronic disease.
Yes.
And that's where rehabilitation comes in. It helps the addict to stop.
Yes.
And it gives the initial support of early recovery, which I got. And in my second phase, it gave me the enlightening of where I am and able to strategize that I should not be so much expectant on one thing. I should have an exit strategy.
Yes.
And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's why I'm partaking and pursuing my education on addiction counseling, because I want to help others. And I want also to build a career on it.
Yes.
In addiction and in recovery, we say, no matter how far down the scale we had gone, we can think how our experience can benefit others. Many people may think that I have lost 2-3 years, but I count those as the very important years of my life. They have given me experience. They have opened my mind and given me a new ministry and a new experience. I know pain. I have also known the cost of deliverance and what God can do. And I have also understood the power of surrendering everything to the will of God. Because despite the measures, one of the things that people are brought into understanding through rehabilitation is what may have caused you to be the way you are. Because many people are in denial and they tussle, why me? You are able to understand. Like I was able to understand that I was genetically implicated to it. And to be able to understand that addiction is a chronic disease, and chronic diseases are like cancer, diabetes, hypertension, and chronic diseases, you are able to live and survive with them by the change of lifestyle. The only thing that can help in addiction recovery is the change of lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that is what we embrace. And you cannot change the lifestyle without accepting what is gone is gone. And that's why in the recovery program, we usually incorporate so much the serenity prayer that we say, God, give me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, until you forget. And you keep not looking at the back, what happened, and focus. And we continue and say, and give me the courage to change the things that I can, to work on the courage of what you can be able to do, managing a lifestyle that does not accommodate alcoholism. And that's where we say, you should take care of people, places, and things that trigger you. When we talk of people, we talk of the people drinking it. When we talk of places, are the places that you used to drink or places that used to trigger you. Things that is where we focus so much on. Because these are the things, personal things like anger, like unforgiveness, like bitterness. You need to work on them completely. And above all, you need to surrender to the will of God.
Reverend.
One of the things that I want to say before you pause is surrender to the will of God. Thank you.
Reverend, we need to have a part 2. We need to have a part 2 because we need now to go. The next time you come, you go to the phase of now you are out of a rehab. Now you're free from addiction and how that journey was like. We need to share that with our viewers, but this was part 1. I'm sure I'll definitely invite the good Reverend and I hope he'll accept our invitation. But I want to say thank you so much for honoring our invitation, Reverend. Your story needed to be shared. We needed to share with the people your story, a story of hope and a story of a second chance. Thank you so much for coming. We love you. We appreciate you. And now you become part of the family.
Oh my, you want to say it's done? So much I've not been exalted, but I want to say thank you so much for the healing hearts. I've been very amazing, you Edwin and your team. I want to say, people of God, we do recover.
Yes.
There is life after recovery.
Yes.
God is doing things that you cannot imagine. That person, you know, their families, parents who are in cry of their sons and daughters, their brothers and sisters, people who are stigmatized also because of the people who are close to them and they are in addiction. I really pray for you because I know the pain my own spouse, Monica, went through. I know the pain my mother went through. And when I look at you, I give you a lot of hope that don't give up. Don't give up. You may give up on people, but don't give up on God. Don't give up on God. Surrender the situation of that addict to the will of God. My climax will just be this. To climax. A message to everybody who is going addiction or who are having people who are going addiction and not only addiction because we are giving hope. Other people who are going stigmatizing situations in life, who are going through the crutches of divorce, of other things, anything that you may be going through, may it be depression. When Jesus went to raise Lazarus, the sister mother said that Jesus, if you came at the time that we called you, my brother could not have died. But mother went ahead and said, but even now, John 11:21. But even now, whatever you say, I know God will fulfill it. And that situation that you see is very much impossible. You imagine Lazarus was dead. The sisters also are telling Jesus he's smelly. He has stayed in the tomb for 3 days, but they still have faith that even at that point, whatever Jesus says, it will happen. You are an addict. You are very much pressed. There is hope. Even that marriage that you are seeing is almost ending. There is a God of restoration.
Yes.
That son that you are seeing as if he is going to die, there is restoration. Yes. That life that you have gone so down the scale, you are at that time very senior. Now you are down to earth. Walk with God in humility, even now. Just believe, have faith, surrender to the will of God. We pray in the Lord's Prayer that your will be done, not our will. Things started becoming easy when I removed my will and let God's will dominate. Nothing happens in my life as a coincidence. Even this show is not a coincidence. It's the will of God. Yeah. But we keep ourselves so much attached to our will and we don't release the will of God. When you say the will of God be done, let it be done. Just let go and let God. Just let go and let God. Let the will of God be done. May the Lord bless our viewers. There is hope. There is still life. even after what you are going through. The love of God is upon you. That is why you are alive. You just need to ask God, what is your will? Even in this situation, as I said about the Jeremiah and the potter, are you molding me? Najua, you are molding me to make me what I want, just for the glory of God, as I'm giving my testimony for glory. Amen. Thank you so much, Edwin, and your team.
Thank you again, Reverend.
You know, I'm a preacher, yes, and I have taken so much time without getting a pulpit. Yes. So I'm feeling the charismatic that was in me.
I know.
But I really trust God for an opportunity and a plan.
This is a platform for you.
Amen.
Feel free. Yeah. And again, we have enjoyed having you, Reverend. I'm sure we'll have you back. Our viewers, thank you for joining us. If you have any comment, what is your phone number, Reverend?
My phone number is 0707 374 370. 0707 374 370. Those who have people whom we can talk to or assist them and connect them to rehabilitation, reach out to me.
Absolutely.
0707 374 370.
From us to you, we love you. We are praying for you. God bless you and good afternoon.